Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bells. Every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Hey, let's do another video about heirs properties. Now, I've done a couple of them. Done one recently about how this guy was taking land from black folks, I think in Barrett County out here in Texas, and how this is going on all over the country. And these people are meticulous. They do a lot of studying. They do a lot of research on these deeds, on these properties, to figure out a way to get them from black folks. Because unfortunately, we have land a lot of times and we don't know what to do with it or how to keep it or maintain it. But you can go back, watch that video. Also a couple of links on that video to where you can watch other videos and also read the article on the whole thing. Because bottom line, name of the game is property, real estate. Like they say, the Most High ain't making no more. So you get some, you keep it, you maintain it, you take care of it. Because if you don't, somebody else will try to come snatch it from you, and they will use it to create generational wealth for themselves. But anyway, this article is from the rollingout.com website, and it says, beware, 5 reasons black heirs lose inherited homes, ruining generational wealth. Now, I'm quite sure there's gonna be some people that say, well, man, you know, this could be, say this for white folks and Mexicans and anybody else. I could, but that's not my concern. My concern is that we as a people, since the Civil War, I think, have lost 90% of the land that we've had since then, or probably more than that. And that's not a good thing. Again, generational wealth starts with real estate and knowing how to make money off that real estate, whether you have a house, whether you have land. That's where it starts. So let's get into this nice, good article and give my little take on it as we go through. It's saying inheriting a home is not a straightforward process, which it is not, but let's go with it. It says passing down a family home from generation to generation has long been a symbol of black generational wealth and anybody generational wealth, stability, and a sense of continuity. However, it's a sad reality that many black people end up losing the homes passed down to them and unwittingly breaking the chain of generational wealth. This heartbreaking trend continues despite the best intentions of those who leave behind their properties. Here are 5 common reasons why most black families lose their homes and hand it down to them, and the importance of preserving black generational wealth. Now, let me say it like this. Just a real quick summary. You know, heirs property is property that's passed down without like legal paperwork. And it sounds good when to say, you know, I got 1,000 acres, I'm gonna pass it down to my kids, my grandkids, my great grandkids. They have somewhere to live, and they have, you know, they can have generational wealth. They go like this: just you got land. It's not necessarily to where the generational wealth is where you have land and let's say you make money off of it or you sell it. That's not truly how generational wealth thing is. The way you look at it is, if you have property and it's paid off and all you are paying are taxes, you are pretty much saving 50 to 70% of your bills, because as if there's a house on it and you can get like a little houses paid off, whatever. What is it? Like, what is a foundation house, trailer house, I mean, you know, double wide, whatever. Tiny home, RV. If you have somewhere to live and it's paid off, that's where your wealth can start. Because like I said, you don't have a mortgage, you don't have a rent. What's rent going, like minimum rent going like $1,200-$1,400 now? Mortgage on a nice size house, $2,000-$3,000 a month, give or take. If you can eliminate that in a car note, you pretty much have, like, most of the money you make is yours. So you can use whatever money you make. So that money you make, you can build off of it and create wealth. And then you can pass that land down to your kids and your grandkids. They can do the same thing. So all the money that they make, the majority of it can go into their pocket where they can invest and build wealth. That's how your generational wealth starts. But for some reason, the problem is a lot of us, we like this article is gonna say, we don't know how to maintain and manage property, and then other people come in and take it. Let's go with this. Let's go with it. First, lack of financial planning and preparedness for Black beneficiaries. One of the primary reasons behind the loss of inherited homes is a lack of financial planning and preparedness among beneficiaries. That's the same damn name title. Anyway, when a home is passed down, it comes with ongoing financial responsibilities such as property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities. Many Black individuals aren't prepared for the financial burden of home ownership, and that is true. You see these commercials all the time about, oh, it's cheaper to own a home than it is to rent. Well, shit, right now I think it's cheaper to rent right now. But anyway, it will say if you're paying like $1,000 to rent, you can buy a home and your mortgage would be $500. For the same size, let's say if you rent a house for $1,000, you can actually buy that house for $600. And everybody jumped on it. Believe that. Thought that was an end all to be all. But then what they didn't do is like your $600, hell, it might even be like $400-$500 could be your mortgage. And this is years ago, not now. But what they didn't count on is one, okay, like I said, insurance, which would be, who knows, a few $1,000 a year. Then your property taxes, which can be anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s a year. Then you got maintenance. Then you got your utility bills, right? And then the maintenance when something breaks down. So you go from $1,000 apartment to a $400 or $500 a month house, which is really gonna run you about $1,200 to $1,500 a month. That's the stuff that they didn't tell you. So a lot of people get in these houses and then they get upside down, and they get behind, and they get foreclosed on, and then they get kicked out. And it's just the cycle goes on and on. Continues like that. But these are the things that you have to prepare for. I think I did a video. I think one of my first videos I did was about buying a house, and I had bought a house and kind of the steps that you have to go through and how to prepare yourself to be able to buy a house, down payments, all that kind of stuff, credit history, checks, all it ain't just cut and dry like that. But like this said, like property taxes, let's say you live in a neighborhood, you got an older house, property taxes for like a year could be $800. But then developers come in, they buy up everybody else's grandma's house for pennies on the dollar. Remodel them, tear them down, build a new house. So now your house, which was worth $80,000 at the time, you was fortunate enough to be able to have a brand new car. And I used to talk about people. This is the ignorance of not knowing, because I remember used to going through the hood and seeing cats with brand new cars, right? I'm talking about luxury cars, Lexuses, Suburbans on 20s. Speakers, Mercedes, stuff like that. They got these luxury cars, high-end cars, and they living in these frame houses. And I used to sit there saying, man, why you have a raggedy house and you got a car that's worth the same amount of your house? But then I'm thinking about it. Now that I got older and learning and reading and studying, it's like, that's what you're supposed to do. Because you want your house to be paid off. It don't have to look like everybody else's house. It doesn't have to look nice. Have your house paid off. Keep it, make sure you maintain it, upkeep, taxes. And you can, like I said, you eliminate at least half of your bills. Or the money going out of your pocket. So now you have the money to buy the car that you want. And Mike can buy it with a high down payment, if not cash. So yeah, you got it's got to be your mind. Your mindset has to change first and foremost. But yeah, you have to be prepared for it. You have to be prepared for like the other expenses. Often heirs are excited to receive a property only to discover the cost associated with maintaining it can be overwhelming. Without a solid financial plan, they may struggle to meet these financial obligations, leading to the eventual loss of the property. Next, most Black heirs fail to understand legal obligations. Inheriting a home is not a straightforward process, and many individuals fail to understand the legal obligations and responsibilities that come with it. This lack of knowledge can lead to disputes, legal issues, and ultimately the loss of the inherited property. One common legal issue arises when multiple heirs are involved. Disagreements over the property's use, sales, or upkeep can create rifts within families. To avoid this, it's crucial to establish clear communication and, if necessary, consult with a legal expert to address potential conflicts and come to an amicable agreement. Case in point, my father, like I say, has land, the property that he was raised on. Now, he has 7 other siblings, but my grandmother left it to him to take care of. Now, he says, hey, anybody in the family can use it. He's not gonna be the type of person, oh, it's mine, can't nobody come here. My aunts and uncles, they go all the time here. They help fix on it. They, you know what I'm saying, they have like family outings, family reunions, stuff like that, and they help the repairs and keep the yards mowed and everything. But when it comes to the legal aspect is his. Just like he has, like, his name is on like other property that's close to the river, another plot that's like down the street. His name is on it because you got these people, like in the video I did not too long ago, where what they'll do is they'll research these deeds and they'll find land that, let's say, your great granddad had, but now he has 20 great grandchildren. Some of them still live in the state. You might have 1 or 2 that might still live in that city, but some of them have moved out to other parts of the country. And what they do is they'll reach out to the cousin that lives in California and say, hey, did you know that you have rights to a part of this acreage? And you are legally you own like 2 acres, whatever. And the person's like, really? And they're like, yeah. You don't, you know what I'm saying? Would you like to sell it to me? Because your great granddaddy had it and he's passed down to all y'all. So all y'all got equal shares of it, and yours is this. Now I know you live in California, you ain't got no use to it. It's just 2 acres. Just sell it to me. That's all. It's just 2 little acres. They were like, okay, fine. So, like I said, these people don't even know they have this property. They say, okay, fine. But the thing is, they'll reach out to many other kinfolk and do the same thing. And the next thing you know, these people have bought a good portion of that land. The thing about it is the land is not like separated. You know what I'm saying? Not tracked out to the family members. Just say like it's 1,000 acres and 100 family members can lay claim to it. Well, they'll reach out and get, let's say, 10 of them. And 10 of them sell them 10 acres a piece. So now you have, let's say, what I say, 1,000 or like 100, like 1,000 acres. So now they got like, say they got like 10% of the land, which is 100 acres. Since it's not, tracked out or divided with on the deeds, it's just saying, hey, you got to, so basically you can just go in there and just pick an acre. If you own an acre, just go on 10 acres, you go in there and just pick your 10. And this is, you go in there, if you get a fence, get a surveyor, go out there, map out, cut out you 10 acres, this is yours. That 10 acre belongs to you. But if you never went out down there, been down there and done it, so now you got a guy who buys the acreage, buys your part. He goes down there to the county office and he gets him an appraiser and a surveyor. And he says, I want this 10 right here. And so get a fence it off, and it belongs to you. He may get the 10 where the road starts. and it goes back into the land. So now he can put a fence and a lock on that gate. Now, technically, he's supposed to make it to where the rest of the people, the family, has access to get to their land. But the problem is, hell, they don't know what land is theirs. So he can say, hey, my 10 goes straight down this road, and anything outside of that, they can have. But if he done got 10 family members to sell him their parts, now he has 100 acres out of the 1,000. And he can, like say, just track it off how he want to. Now everybody's going through court trying to figure out who owns what. How this guy say why are there houses being built on our land? Well, no, your land got sold. No, that land got sold. You still have yours out there. So as development comes, now this guy can go down to the courthouse, to the courthouse and say, hey, these people ain't using this land. They don't know what they're doing with it. They having conflicts on how to use it. I need to go ahead and get it. I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and make them sell it to me. And if he has a good enough case and done his research, which most likely he's done, there's a good chance he's gonna get a majority of land, if not all of it, just through the courts. If you don't believe me, like I said, watch my last video. There's a link in there to the story. Now I talk about the story, but there's a link that tells the whole story about how this guy took pretty much damn near all of this land from this family and has done it to a lot of people. This is no joke. He takes it, flips it, makes millions, while these black people get pennies on a dollar and still end up poor. You gotta know who you're dealing with and how to deal with it. Next, it said black homeowners neglect regular maintenance and repairs. Owning a home, whether inherited or purchased, is responsible for owning a home, whether inherited or purchased, is responsible for maintaining it. Neglecting regular maintenance and necessary repairs is a common pitfall that can lead to the deterioration of the property and its eventual loss. Over time, minor issues can escalate into major problems if not addressed properly. A leaky roof, for example, can lead to water damage and mold infestation, while ignoring a faulty plumbing system can result in extensive damage to the property structure. Lack of maintenance can significantly reduce the home's value and make it less desirable to potential buyers if the heirs decide to sell. In some cases, the cost of repairs may become prohibitive, leading to the unfortunate decision to let go of the property. They say next is high property taxes and rising costs for unprepared black heirs. Property taxes are a significant ongoing expense that can catch many heirs off guard. Local governments determine property tax rate based on the home's assessed value. I know my dad used to do appraisal, and he would say that these Hispanic people will come in, like East Dallas, West Dallas, get these frame houses, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Come in, redo it, brick it up, put like a half circle drive in the front, put a wrought iron fence up, sitting on top of what you call them, bricks, with like irons on the front gate and everything. I'm talking like iron, not iron, but like lions, stone lines in the front gate and everything. He come through and appraise it. He go from appraising the house where they paying like $800 a year on taxes, and next thing you know, they owe like a few hundred dollars a month on taxes. And they get upset, come down there and complain to him. It's like, well, dude, you just built a $150,000 house. That's what, on top of a house that was only worth probably $50,000. You redid it, it's a nice house, but your property taxes are gonna go up. This is America. This is how they do it. So, and what happens is his property taxes go up and they get all upset. Yeah, the house you paid for it, but now you still got to pay property tax. Well, then the person next door, their taxes go up, and they didn't do nothing. They just live in that neighborhood. But then, like I said, you got these Hispanics going to this neighborhood and they doing this to houses throughout the neighborhood. Well, everybody's property taxes are going up, and everybody can't afford it. And you have grandma or grandpa on fixed income, and they can't pay more than what they've already been paying. So that becomes a problem. So now, well, they're gonna have to sell a house or lose it in foreclosure. And it's sad, but that's what happens, because the family members, the kids, grandkids who probably got 4 or 5 kids of their own, single parents, they can't help afford pay for grandma's house. So they can barely take care of themselves. Some cases, some instances, not all, some. I'm just saying how houses are lost. Not saying that we all are like that. And that's what your problem is. So you have to understand, like I say, how the tax system works and how it is I ain't gonna say designed, but it seems like it works to work against the common man. In some cases, heirs may not qualify for property tax exemption or deduction that the original owner enjoyed, further increasing the financial burden. It's crucial to research local tax laws and explore any available exemptions to mitigate the impact of rising property taxes. And then it says emotional attachments and sentimentality. While emotional attachment to a family home can be a beautiful sentiment, it can also hinder generational wealth preservations. Heirs who become overly sentimental about the property may resist necessary changes or decisions that are in the best interest of the family's financial stability. For example, some heirs may refuse to sell a property, even when it's financially impractical to keep it. This emotional attachment can lead to decline in the property's values as maintenance and repairs are neglected, ultimately leading to its loss. Inheriting a family home is a significant blessing, representing the potential for generational wealth and financial stability. However, failing to address the common pitfalls that lead to the loss of these homes can result in heartbreaking consequences. To preserve generational wealth and ensure that the family home continues to be a source of stability and continuity, it is vital to be financially prepared, understand legal obligations, maintaining the property, managing rising costs, and balancing emotional attachments and practical decisions. By addressing these 5 key factors, individuals can honor the legacy of their ancestors and pass on a valuable asset to future generations, solidifying the foundation of the family's generational wealth. Which brings me to this. Going back to my dad, like I said, you got 7 siblings, but my grandmother left the house to him. Because one, first of all, you leave it to the person that you trust that'll do right by the land, by the family. 2, if you leave it, as like this article says, if you leave it to too many people, and like I just explained, that's how people can come in and take what little that you have and add on to their portfolio. And these people do this and they have no care in the world, man. They have no heart. They don't care if your family is sitting outside the gate with signs up and cans begging for food. They do not care. They will take everything you got. So you have to leap. It's like I've heard stories too, seen stories where a guy can have a family, a wife, kids, have his own house, do his own thing. And he can have a sibling that maybe, like say, single parent, or maybe, I don't know, out of jail, just can't get right. Don't really have the financial means to take an inheritance. And for some reason, grandmama give that person, I've seen it where grandmama or mama give the house to the guy who got the family. And I've seen it where mama give the house to the person who life is just ain't right yet. Like I say, may have like 2 or 3 kids, single parent, trying to make it, blah, blah, blah. People wonder why they give it to the man with the family. Well, that's because the parent, mama, can see that she knows she give it to him, he's gonna take care of it. He's gonna do right by it. Because if you give it to this one over here whose life ain't straight, there's a good chance that house is gonna get taken within a matter of years, if that long, because they haven't shown financial responsibility. Don't matter what you think, if it's fair, if it ain't right, like, oh man, he got everything. Why they didn't give it to that person? That person ain't made smart choices yet. So you think it's finna put the land in your name? Nah, the house in your name, I know dang gone well is gonna get taken care of. But this is why you have to establish this stuff early. You have because yes, there's a big problem where our people did not know how to deal with this because we didn't have access to the funds or access to the information on how to pass land down in this country or pass down properties or any kind of inheritance down in this country. Now, you know, the scriptures say that a man is supposed to leave an inheritance to his family. But there are rules to the game, and I know there's gonna be some people who don't like it, but look, like I told you before, you have to go back to the beginning to fix anything. Any problem that you have to go back to the foundation and start there. You have to. You can't go by emotion. You can't get, whether you can't think something is fair or unfair, you have to do it right. And how do we do that? Man, you got to go through laws. You got to go by the scriptures, period. You got to take it back there, because if we are the chosen people, we got laws in the Old Testament that tell you how to live a life and to make sure everything runs smoothly. Now, when you go against that law, as they say, we are the children of the curses. Okay, if you believe that again, then take your butt to the Bible and read it and get back to where you're supposed, and get back to the way it's supposed to be. So I looked up, what the Bible says about inheritance, and I get to this website, and it's called FamilyLawIsrael.com. Now I know y'all probably thinking, oh, here we go with the whole Jewish thing. Okay, y'all look at here. We supposed to be the lost children of Israel because we're over here, we're in slavery and bondage for 400, 500 years, whatever. Then we got to turn back to the Most High to rightfully claim, get what we supposed to get. You got to go back to the Old Testament, man. You got to go to the Torah, and it teaches you how to live, the scriptural laws, the biblical laws, the spiritual laws. I mean, the dietary laws, everything. That's where you have to start. And right there in the scriptures, it tells you how you're supposed to treat an inheritance. Now, like I say, you read this because, I read this, and yes, talk about Jewish law. And the first thing you think is the Ashkenazi Jews, which, come on, we know where they came from. Read a book. I got a book. Matter of fact, I ain't finna read it. I'll tell you later. And it tells you how to deal with an inheritance. And I'm gonna read some of this. It's called, like I say, it's from the FamilyLawIsrael.com, and the title said the division. You can Google it yourself, and just Google the division of inheritance according to Torah law, and then you find a FamilyLawIsrael.com, and you click on it and you read it for yourself. And if you don't believe what this is saying, then you do what I did. I ain't saying I didn't believe it, because I did, but I know you guys ain't gonna believe it. You go to, like I did, to the scriptures, or I got right here. I do have a Holy Bible there, just in case y'all just don't think that I don't. It's the same, pretty much same book. Just the words of the translation. Not that it's translated differently, but it uses like the actual Hebrew words and stuff like that. But anyway, on this website, let me see if I can get to it. It said the order of inheritance according to Torah law. In the Jewish law, the woman, and I don't know where this article starts or why this was written, but it says in Jewish law, the woman occupies a special social status. Although she is exempt from most of the commandments, she is also not entitled or allowed to own property on her own. And in vast majority of cases, the woman fell under the auspices of her family, of her father or husband, and this norm also permeated the law of succession and inheritance according to Torah law. Now, when you read, the problem is people don't know how to interpret the Bible. They listen to people interpret it and they don't read it for themselves and know how to study. Now, people will believe that women got no rights, they gets nothing, and this is why we got to go away from the Torah, because it's just not fair to women. But in reality, women get a lot of rights. A lot more rights. Well, I can say a lot more rights. They get a lot of rights without having to even do much because they get rights because they are women. And I'll get to that shortly. But it says here, it says there are a number of sources that have been compiled together from which one can understand the laws concerning the inheritance according to the Torah, including the story of the daughters of Zelophehad in the book of Numbers, chapter 27, verse 2, which I shall read here in a second. But in the Torah, in the book of Numbers, mentions a man who dies and has no son, and you transfer his inheritance to his daughter. Similarly, in Leviticus, it mentions, and you inherited them to your sons after you. From this, it can be learned that according to the Torah law, the inheritance of the estate was first passed down to the son, and the sons precede daughters in the division of acceptance of inheritance. Now, this tells you, like I say, the specific order. And why am I getting to this is because, again, when you have land, property, and you have many children, you can't give all of them that land. You have to, which goes to how you train and teach your kids from the beginning, like them folk do your kids when you take them to school. When we take them to school and they learn everything they need to learn, if they want them to learn from the time they in daycare on up. And then we wonder why we can't control them. Because we don't do any kind of teaching. We leave it all up to them instead of like having them learn and come home and tell you what they learn. And then you say, hey, nope, that's not right. This is it. Nope, that's not completely right. Oh yes, they did a good job, whatever. Instead of doing that, you have to teach your kids from when they babes. But again, you can't tell everybody that this land belongs to everybody, because especially in this country and like these scriptures, man, it tells you how to live and how this world gonna do you. There's nothing new under the sun. It's basically what this is telling you. Again, you can't leave your land to everybody in your family. Your kids, you have to delegate to someone and trust that they will do right by the family. Because if not, you're pretty much guaranteeing that somebody is gonna come take it. So let me continue. It says, if a man dies and has no son, then you shall pass his inheritance to his daughter. A son precedes a daughter. All descendants of a son precedes a daughter. A daughter precedes the brothers of the deceased. Additionally, the descendants of a daughter, and I'm gonna put this link up so y'all can read this, because I know it's probably gonna confuse some of y'all to the point where you're gonna click off. Additionally, the descendants of a daughter precedes the brothers of the deceased. Brothers of the deceased precede the uncles of the deceased. Additionally, the descendants of the brothers precede the uncles. This is the law. So basically it's saying it goes down the bloodline, and if there's no one to go down, then it goes up and out. But let me read this from a scriptural standpoint. Now, what did it say? Numbers chapter 27 starts at verse 2. And it says, and they stood, so chapter 27 says, man, I didn't think I was gonna start preaching today. Amazing, but this is something that's gotta be out. So chapter 27 says, then came the daughters of Zelophehad, son of Heifer, son of Gilead, son of Mechar, son of everybody. Good Lord. And verse 2. And they stood before Moshe, which is Moses, before Eleazar, the priest, and before the leaders and all the congregation by the doorway of the tent of meeting, saying, our father died in the wilderness. It's talking about his daughters. Our father died in the wilderness, yet he was not in the company of those who were met together against the Most High, in company with Korah, but he died in his own sin, and he has no son. Why should the name of our father be removed from among his clan because he has no son? Give us a possession among the brothers of our father. Moshe then brought their case before the Most High, which means he went straight to God and talked to him. And the Most High spoke to Moshe, saying, the daughters of Zelophehad fad. Speak what is right. And this is from the Most High himself. You should certainly give them a possession of inheritance among their father's brothers, and cause the inheritance of their fathers to pass to them. And speak to the children of Israel, saying, when a man dies and has no son, then you shall cause his inheritance to pass to his daughter. And if he has no daughter, then you shall give his inheritance to his brothers. And if he has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to his father's brothers. And if his father has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to the nearest relative of his clan, that he shall possess it. And it shall be to the children of Israel a law of right ruling, as the Most High has commanded Moshe or Moses. So that's in the scriptures. Like I said, the inheritance go down, son first. If he got no sons, then to the daughter. And then if he has no daughter, then it goes like up to his uncles or his brothers. And it like his brother is like his brother. If he ain't got no brother, go to his uncles, whatever. It goes down, and it goes up, and then it goes out, and then down. But you keep it close to the family. Now, I wanted to see something real quick about the saying that people think that, like I said, the women don't have rights, but they do, because they're taken care of. The women are taken care of in the scriptures. Period. Their right ruling, either they taken care of until they get their own, because women get their inheritance and wealth from their husband or their father if they're not married or of age to be married. So anyway, like I said, there's rules to the game. There's ways that this is supposed to be done, and we have to find it, go back to it. We can't do things off of feelings, because feelings is why we still vote Democrat and get nothing, because we feel that the Republicans are more racist than Democrats when they're both all the same, but that's a whole different story. All I'm saying is, in this instance, we're talking about land and houses and property. Like I said, we have to learn how to manage our property. If we want generational wealth, we have to go back to, as I say, the beginning, which is you own land. I know a lot of black people who own land, a lot of them. And it's funny because most people say we don't have any, which we don't have a lot, but we have a little, and we can do a lot. I said to myself, shoot, if I can move to the country, which is a plan, I say I'm either gonna move to the country or out the country. But if I can move to the country, move somewhere where, some land is already, already paid for. I gotta do, say pay the taxes, maybe put like a little house on there, something not too expensive, and live off the land and live, and then the way I can go to work, own a business, do whatever, and the money that I make, the majority of it can come in my pocket because my house is paid off. Man, it can't beat that. You cannot beat that. No matter if you think the house is pretty or not, or or new or not, or if it's old, you upkeep it. Man, I'd rather know I got money than for somebody to think I got money and I'm broke as hell. Think about that. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below and then share it with the world. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace. And I'll see you on the other side.